Welcome to the LMS channel, where we don't BS or sugarcoat, we informed, and you can count on us to give you the ground level scoop of logistics and warehousing. Mike Diaz here with LMS Logistics, and today we're going to talk about how you can enhance your environment. I talk about the environment all the time, and you're probably saying, well, Mike, how do I do that? How do I change my environment? It's crazy here. I'm going to give you the tips and tricks. David Ogilvy said in the 1900s, the father of marketing, said, we hire people smaller than us, we shall have a company of dwarfs. We hire people larger than us, we should have a company of giants. And you can apply that to training, leading, and everything you do in a warehouse. We want to elevate people, so we want everybody to grow. And it's achievable. So if you're in the industry and you want to know more about ground level logistics and the scoop on things out here in California or today, where the industry has gone, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, give me a smash on the like button to help us out with the algorithm, and subscribe so we can see you on the next one. So where do I come from? I come from a military background. I'm a U.S. Army veteran of 10 plus years. After that, there's a few years of contracting overseas. All in all, I got about 15 years of military experience. Us military veterans today, we find ourselves out of our element because it's very hard to acclimate in the new environment. We like to be out of our comfort zone, and not too many folks like to be out of their comfort zone. For us, not only do we like it, we need it, and we thrive outside of our comfort zone. Military leaders are exemplary. We lead by example. We live by a creed, by values, and by ethos, day in and day out. We hold ourselves accountable, we hold our subordinates accountable, and many times we also hold our leaders accountable. We train, we coach, and we develop leaders. The military is a breeding ground for leaders. There's no coasting in the military. Accountability and responsibility is huge. We're accountable and we're responsible 24/7. It's not a 9 to 5. So whether we're in uniform or out of uniform, we're still accountable and responsible for our actions. So in the military, everyone is required to know their job, 2 jobs down and 1 job up, and it's for a specific set of reasons. So I apply everything I learned in the military to run my company, and also to stimulate the culture of my company. We use that to create a winning environment. But remember, focus on what's within your control. Stay positive, and you'll realize that you can influence others. So I want to talk about the typical warehouse environment. And I do want you to chime in below and let me know what type of environment you're in. So, traditionally we see that there's a lot of nepotism, favoritism, cronyism. And how do I know this? Lots of times doing interviews on brand new candidates. So every time I have a candidate in for an interview, I ask them about their old environment to see where they're coming from. Us having issues with people coming in, they come from an environment with a certain set of beliefs. But these beliefs are that leaders don't know their job, don't know what they're doing, they're lost, they're not leading, they have to figure out on their own. Now again, like I said, leaders are exemplary. We lead like leaders should lead, from the front. Over here at LMS, our leaders know their job. Here at LMS, you cannot lead unless you know the job of the person below you. Here, you're not gonna lead if you can't train someone. So you gotta know what the hell's going on. Nepotism in warehousing. So a lot of places here in California, you have kind of the ambience of warehouse manager, the rest of his family and friends. We see that a lot. And it leads to a certain set of challenges. Yes, I get it. You might be able to depend on your friends and your family to do your job as a warehouse manager. However, you're shortchanging everyone else. Then you have favoritism and cronyism. So you got your favorites. Now in the military, sometimes there's been perception of favoritism, but what you see is when you have somebody that you can lean on and depend on, you're naturally gonna gravitate towards that person, right? But it's always a fair and balanced assessment of everyone, and whoever you can lean on, whoever you can depend on, that's your team. We see lots of times in warehousing, a lot of growth is stifled. We hear other folks say don't promote from within. And what's the problem and what are the challenges there? So when folks don't promote from within, they're bringing new energy and external people to that team, to to that culture. And a lot of times it gets disturbed. And we see that a lot. We have somebody performing really well and we bring them in help because we're growing, and the old person leaves. So what we're seeing a lot is folks that are concerned that new people are actually replacing them. That here at LMS is not the case. And with new folks that are coming in and we see talent, apparently there's a concern that someone performs a lot better than someone else and they're gonna take their job. So again, going back to the saying, if we hire folks that are smaller than us, we'll become dwarfs. If we hire folks that are bigger than us, then we become a company of giants. If I got a supervisor that brings someone in and now that person is outperforming them, perfect. We can bring that person up to the supervisor level and that supervisor can move up the next level. So that's what we see as the typical warehousing environment. It's to us, it's like an upside down triangle. Now, you asked me, Mike, what can I do to change that? And I got the recipe for you to change that. So what can you do to change and impact and influence your environment? Well, it all starts with you. And like I said, you're in control of everything that you do. So, your energy. Bring in a different energy. And remember, it starts with you. Come into work, do the best that you can. I want you to try something. I want you to be an overachiever for a day. That means do everything that you need to do, quick, accurate, safe, in your surroundings, have them clean as hell, spotless. And I want you to be done super, super quick. And you're gonna get 2 reactions. And one of those reactions is, look at this guy, look at this girl, doing the most. That's the bozo that you need to stay away from, because misery loves company. Now, the second reaction is, you're gonna get people say, wow, look at this one. They're doing it. I need to step my game up. That's how you know that you're influencing people. That's how you know that you're changing your environment. Now, be conscientious. Conscientiousness is a virtue. That means wanting to do every task that you do correctly. Conscientiousness, integrity. What is integrity? Do the right thing even though no one is looking. Get the hell off of your phone. And if you see somebody on their phones, say, hey, that's unsafe. Do that on break time. You see things on the floor, you see somebody pass by some trash, tell them pick up the trash. You see somebody lollygagging and walking around like they're really not doing anything, that just takes away the motivation on everybody, because everyone else is gonna wanna lag and not do anything. They see that and they just get discouraged. Tell the guy, hey, we don't move around here like that. Let's get going. When you point something out to someone, they're gonna look at you like you're crazy. They're probably gonna be like, who the hell are you? That's just fine. Now, if they pass you and the next person does the same thing, because you done influenced a few people in your warehouse, that next person's gonna say, hey, pick up that trash, or, hey, you need to move quicker than that. Then that person's gonna start questioning, like, who do these people think they are? When the third person stops them and say, hey, we don't walk around here like that. Hey, pick up that trash. Hey, get off your phone, it's a safety hazard. They're really gonna understand now, these people ain't playing. They're gonna do one or two things. They're gonna walk out that door, or they're gonna join your team. Guaranteed. And how about this? You work with your peers. How many times do you need help or someone else needs help, and we just pass by them like if they don't exist? Or a lot of times we watch them struggle, or even sometimes we watch them hit something. How about you help somebody, you set them up for success, you make them look successful, and you give them the credit for it. What does that cost you? Nothing at all. And what do you end up doing? You build rapport, you build a relationship. Now, from the bottom down and from the top up, people are looking at you like you're changing the environment. So now that you're making some changes on your environment at the low level, let's try it towards the mid-level to higher level. You want to make your leader shine. We said at one point, it doesn't matter who leads. So realistically, you really don't have to like the person that's leading, but you want to make sure that you're setting them up for success so they can set you up for success. Now we say, what's the gift? Who does who first? Control your environment, and remember, you're doing stuff for yourself. You have control, so you take the initiative. If that leader's giving you something to do, make sure you do it in its entirety. And here in the warehousing environment, you have to do cross-checks. And what I'm specifically gauging towards is cycle counts, inventory counts. If your leader gives you something to verify, actually go verify it and cross-check, cross-balance yourself. If you're doing inventory on an inbound or receipt per se, make sure you do multiple cross and checks and balances. So you counted so many pallets, you counted so many boxes, now do a cross-check. How many boxes should I have? Go back and see how many pallets I should have. And what you're doing is you're creating value and you're being the dependable one. Therefore, probably the go-to one. Here in the warehousing environment, it's extremely difficult to find people that you can actually lean on and trust 100% that they're gonna give you accurate counts and accurate information. Out here in the warehousing environment, people like to just get things done. Just get the task done. That means, oh yeah, I counted that. But did you count it correctly? Did you cross-balance yourself? If I can find somebody that I can equivocally 100% trust with an inventory, that is so valuable, I'm willing to pay for that. The pinnacle of knowing that I have a great team is when the really high performers start weeding out the low performers. And I'm gonna leave you with something. Each individual that is here in the warehouse costs the warehouse about 50 grand a year, 40 to 50 grand a year because we're in Southern California. Now, think about your place and how many people you got walking around lollygagging that don't really need to be there. I'm willing to say about 10, maybe 15, sometimes 20. Could you imagine 50,000 or 40,000 times 20? So here's how us owners look at it. If we're doing a lot more with less, we're willing to pay these people a lot more for the work that they do. We want that team. We want that core team that sticks around with us long-term to get the job done, to minimize turnover, maximize efforts and earnings so we can take care of folks. We are really concerned about the welfare of our team. That is a responsibility that's bestowed on us as business owners. We're okay with and we love seeing the parking lot and everybody's got a brand new car. We love hearing when somebody's buying a house. At LMS, what we do is, when we hear of somebody buying a house, we reward them a major appliance as a token of our appreciation. And then we also move them too, from their old house to their new house. We want to see that. So, like we mentioned, imagine a place where you were actually motivated to come to work, where your peers watched out for you, where your leaders trained you and elevated you. That would be amazing. And it all starts with you. You can achieve that. And yes, it does take time. We're talking about grabbing the lowest fruit on the tree for you to start elevating yourself and your environment. Because after all this, you're learning, you're starting to create value. And after you create value, what comes after is pay, all right? People, supervisors, managers, and owners are willing to pay for that additional value that you bring to the table. Again, this is Mike Diaz. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button if you liked the video and subscribe so we can see you on the next one. Mike out.